Industries that are hot, sectors set to outperform the market. That's what's here in Zacks Industry Rank Analysis. We have an industry to tell you about today that is on the verge of a turnaround, maybe even the turnaround that's been confirmed in this industry. Charles Rootblatt, our senior market analyst here at Zacks.com, talks about confirmation in the chip sector, confirmation of a recovery. Is that true?
It is.
Or are you teasing us?
No, it looks like it's actually happening. When we look at second quarter earnings, we saw a lot of companies talk about inventory levels dropping, which had been a key headwind for the industry, excessive stockpiles. We saw the numbers coming in ahead of expectations. And granted, if you look at the year-over-year comparisons, they were pretty terrible. But if you look going forward, a lot of these companies talked about seeing improvement in business, a lot of cautious optimism, not gangbusters. Things are back, circa, March 2000, but they're definitely seeing improvement. But we're also seeing analyst estimates. We're seeing analysts raise forecasts on 55 chip companies in July saw their full year forecast being revised higher. And if you look at Intel, it's particularly interesting because 2009 estimates get revised by about a penny, not much, but 2010, we saw 35 analysts raise their 2010 forecast on Intel, and that's the big leader. So when you look at everything combined, when you look at the trends we saw going into the second quarter, we're definitely seeing signs that the recovery has started. Now, it is a recovery, it is early stages, so we still have a long ways to go. But as I've talked about previously in the column, we are seeing this recovery, and it is definitely spreading across the entire industry, and it definitely and the numbers definitely show that it has started.
So does this now, at least for you, take some of the murkiness out of the future of this particular sector?
Absolutely, and what I was looking for was confirmation. We kind of saw it early in June with Texas Instruments raising its guidance. When we saw the book-to-bill ratios out of the Semiconductor Industry Association, those numbers should come out again, the latest numbers, in about a week or two. So we saw those early signs, but we really wanted to see the numbers, the earnings numbers, and see what companies had to say. And by and large, we saw a lot of companies actually talk about cautious optimism. Even Microsoft, that conference call got a lot of criticism. Microsoft got a lot of criticism for missing estimates, but they even talked about seeing a bottom in their industry. And obviously what Microsoft says has a ripple effect across the entire technology sector because so many PCs use their software, so many servers use their software, and even smartphones use their software. So if Microsoft sees demand at least bottoming, at least no longer falling, that's a good sign for the entire tech industry, and that's what Microsoft said.
So how sustainable do you think this turnaround is?
I think it's very sustainable. I think you saw companies really bringing in their stockpiles in line, which is something we wanted to see on there. We have seen a lot of corporations actually put off replacing servers and computers. On Intel's conference call, they said a lot of PCs and servers are really either at the end or past what normally their useful existence, which is 3 to 4 years. So you look at that, you look at Windows 7 coming out, a lot of companies did not upgrade to Vista. Windows 7 should spark that, but we're also looking at demand. Even the hard drive makers came out last night. Western Digital had some good numbers. About a week or two ago, Seagate Technology raised its guidance. So we're seeing signs across the entire technology sector that corporate spending has at least cuts in spending have ended, and we should start to see some type of increase. Maybe not till 2010, but we are starting to see that gradual increase, and all that bodes well for the semiconductors because any piece of equipment you have out there ultimately has a chip embedded in it somewhere.
Where do you think we're going to see the increase in spending first? On the business and corporate side or on the consumer side?
Well, I think it'll be on the consumer side first, and we're seeing that with things like netbooks, those little tiny computers that are selling for a few $100.
Those are cool.
They are really nice. I don't own one, but they're, you think on the airline, yes, especially you have the guy in front of you with the seat, pushed all the way back, kind of that small screen, but those are doing really well. Smartphone sales are doing really well. The iPhone's been a huge success. Palm's gained some traction with its Pre. It's coming to Verizon in January, so that should give it a boost. Obviously, BlackBerry is doing well as well also. So we're seeing on that side. The business spending, I think we'll see this start to pick up the latter half of this year, certainly 2010. For a lot of corporations, they've cut back on their spending and they need to reinvest in it. And I think also you're looking at a case where corporations realize they've cut back on their employees and they need to do whatever is necessary to improve productivity. And I think in 2010, we're going to look at a situation where companies have seen business stabilize, and then they're looking, okay, what investments can we make internally to try and increase profits in the years ahead? And I think that will ultimately benefit this technology sector. That's why I'm saying we're in the early stages of recovery. Definitely have signs that it started, but certainly there's a long way to go, and certainly a lot of potential growth as we look out throughout 2010 for the chip sector.
All right, but positive news nonetheless, and we will take any positive news that we can get right here, no matter who brings it to us, you included. Read all about this latest recovery in the chip sector that Charles has written about on Zacks.com's homepage. You scroll down that homepage until you get to the industry rank analysis banner and the headline right under it. It's that headline that you click on, and it'll take you to the text report that Charles has put together. With Charles Rotblatt, I'm Terry Ruffalo.